What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JT, and we are back to the Crypto Den. I want to thank you all for tuning in for another exciting topic, as always, here in the Crypto Den. Today, we're going to be talking about layer twos. It's a topic I cover semi regularly because I want people to understand what they are, if they're a good investment, and for you to best understand, from my eyes, in my opinion, what these things are. Okay. For those who do not know, to help you understand that I know what I'm talking about, my name is Jake Tullis. I go by JT, and I run digital asset hedge fund. Apologies, called Bleeding Edge Capital. We are a discretionarily long research-driven fund that specializes in the fundamentals of crypto. That's my gift. That's my background. Okay, I have over 10 years of software development experience and a finance degree. So these are where my worlds collide, and I professionally invest high net worth individuals, registered investment advisors, family offices. I work with very sophisticated people in this asset class, right? And I'm bringing all this knowledge to you all for a few reasons. One, I want to educate you all on what this stuff actually is. The very first rule of Ben Graham is invest in what you know, right? I only know software. That's been the only thing in this life I've been able to really get my hands on, and I love it, right? But if you're also investing in software and you don't know what you're doing, I feel like I have an obligation to help you understand. Okay. And secondly, I get to manage my hedge fund transparently for my capital partners so they can know what I'm thinking, saying, and doing all the time, which is why we hit you with hours of content a week. So thank you for being a supporter and follower, listener, wherever you get me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Now, let's talk about layer twos. Okay. I got some cool screens over here, like usual, that are going to explain exactly, well, I guess show you what I'm about to explain. Okay. Layer twos are not a new thing in general. The concept of building software on top of other software has been around since the beginning of software. Okay. So it's not a new concept. And it's the closest thing I would say, if you have any software experience, to like a batch queue. Okay. All layer twos do, instead of having every single transaction on Ethereum, we're just going to talk about Ethereum today. That's where the most layer twos are. Instead of having your application and a million users all competing for one block, okay, and all those transactions getting bogged down in like 12 transaction per second throughput. So, I mean, if you build an app and it did reach a million users on Ethereum's mainnet, you would not be able to support those a million users. It's too slow, too expensive. So the Ethereum Foundation, which is the group that basically runs Ethereum, sat together and sat down, and they all came to the decision that we should set up some kind of layer two system. And it basically means that now, since there's these layer twos, they're going to have a million users on this thing. We'll call it Base or Optimism or Arbitrum or ZK Sync. There's so many that you're about to see. So it's up here. Ethereum is down here. Boom, layer two. Now my million users are going to have their own transaction history, and then I'm going to send all of their transactions bundled to Ethereum. That way, my million users, and let's say they do it 4 times an hour, every 15 minutes. Now all my users aren't competing for Ethereum block space. Just my layer 2 is with all the other layer 2s. Ethereum made that change in 23-ish, and then they released blobs in 24. Blobs are blocks for layer 2s. So it's really just splitting the Ethereum system into batched records and continuous records, or streaming records, which is just block streams. Every 30 seconds it makes a new block and it keeps going. And then you have a whole other market of block space called blobs. Now, what this effectively did is it took all the users and all the Ethereum off of Ethereum and onto these layer twos. And Now there are hundreds of layer twos, and they want millions of layer twos. They're expanding blobs. This is the Ethereum vision that they want, but it's at a cost to Ether, the asset. And that's what I want you to understand. Layer twos can be built quickly. The whole market can get saturated overnight, and Ether is no longer as relevant as it once was. I got some data to prove those things. So first, what we're going to do, layer 2B. Okay. These guys do a great job. They are a website that tracks all of the layer 2s and gives you data on what they are, how they actually submit data to blobs, right? That's what this is. What's their throughput? Daily user operations. So base at 100, world chain at 23, and you got these really slow networks. And realistically, these numbers are probably because they don't have a lot of users, right? And if we go to Ethereum and their throughput, they may not actually. ChainSpec's a good site. Here you go. Ethereum's 15. Ethereum's theoretical is 119, right? Look how many transactions are now on a layer 2 compared to Ethereum. Imagine if all these transactions were on Ethereum, how much money Ethereum would have made, but instead it's happening on Base because it's faster and cheaper because they're not submitting each transaction one by one, right? Oh, and this was something that might, from a different party, Chainlink, which is a great company. They basically described it as this, right? It's an off-chain network that's built on top of a blockchain to expand its capacity. Now look what happened when Ethereum released these layer 2s. This is fee revenue. They've made 20 billion, which is incredible, but look at this. Fees surged to 400 million a week. Now this is real. Look at what it's doing. This is when they introduced, what was this, 22? Yeah, right here is where they started introducing this concept. Fees are down to 40 million a week. Then they introduced blobs. 20 million, 20 million, 7 million, 5 million. Boom. Look at that. Their revenue went from 400 million a week to 10 million a week. So their revenue is down 90%, 90 plus percent. And it's because all of their activity now exists in these layer 2s, these batched software programs. You can think of them that way. Here they are. So there's 42 billion and, a lot more throughput, but in general, look at all this money that is no longer on Ethereum. All of this could have been genuine revenue to Ethereum, and it's all gone. And you can see there's 150-ish or more layer 2s. This site had 5 a year ago. Okay? And it's really important to understand that these layer 2s are affecting Ethereum in a big way. I mean, Ethereum's price is lackluster. It's not even hit a new all-time high after Bitcoin rips through its previous. This is the first time where Ethereum and Bitcoin are uncorrelated. They almost have an inverse correlation, really. Ethereum's just been nosediving while Bitcoin's ripping. I've been reducing my weight in Ethereum in my fund, and personally, I'm not buying anymore. I have a lot, and it doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to hold on to it because Ethereum, the network, is here to stay. I just don't know if in the short term they're going to figure out how to make Ether, the asset or the token, a part of that equation. And these layer 2s can be spun up so quickly, it's hard to have a moat to protect their business. So I generally stay away from them. I do own Optimism in the fund, but it's a very small weight just in case. They are the largest adopter of this super chain concept, and they are in the top three largest layer twos. But this super chain allows interoperability between all the apps. The founder is coming out of Coinbase's labs. I see there's a very good chance that Optimism could pull out something unique that others can't, but I could be absolutely wrong, which is why it's a very low weight. Otherwise, I avoid these things personally because I think it's going to take a long time for that marketplace to settle, and I cannot go long term on something that seems unsure. Those are my opinions. But objectively, that's what's going on with layer twos. That's what they are. It's how they're affecting Ethereum. And hopefully, you were able to learn something while you stopped by. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you guys and take care of one another. All right. Until next time. Peace and love. I'll see you.